Yeah, so this is early morning on the 2900 road unit. It's the last block on it, I'm sorry to say. Finished it up. So as you can see, or we'll see in a little bit, I'm cutting right above the haul road. We did get some snow. I can't remember what day of the week this was, but it might have been Wednesday. And it was our first day of trucking. So we'd gotten some snow and it warmed up, and the snow just turned, it got packed down. It just turned to ice. It was pretty slick. And so the way it worked out, I'm cutting this last little block above the haul road and we're trucking. So it's what we call phase congestion, and it's kind of unfortunate. But when I moved in, they were still working on the new spur, and then they had a recon spur they were doing some work to as well. So what I did, as quick as I could, I jumped in on the roadside stuff and knocked all of that out that I could. But then before too long, Jason from Oberg there, he got his grades done and stuff, and he was ready to start trucking. So to stay out of their way and not have to have my gates up, which it really slows them down, I jumped inside the unit and I pretty well unhooked most of the inside wood. Then I worked my way down and around, and this is the way it worked out. This last piece was, it started at the junction and ran up the hill a little ways on the active haul route. So it was unfortunate. So I got my signs up, and it was icy enough. It's fairly good adverse going up to the landing spur, and then coming out of the landing spur, it's adverse. And then it's favorable coming down, fairly steep, icy. So they were throwing chains. It's just fun in the dark, like always. Plus my gates to fool around with, and foul everybody up. Yeah, it's interesting. I've built these gates, and I'm going to have to do a segment on them because I've tried a lot of different things. Anybody that cuts in the Northwest, knows what I'm talking about. The cutting gates that block the road. And I've tried a lot of different plans or ideas, and these really work pretty well. But nevertheless, gates on a road they're kind of a pain in the neck. Obviously the safety is important, but everybody's got to work together, and you got the drivers have to get out and open them and shut them, and there's got to be good communication and all that. So I'm not sure. Well, that certainly isn't taken into account. We're paid on production, and that isn't taken into account. So. Yeah, but anyhow, here we are.
Morning, Jason. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Matt. Good. Come on up.
There's a long loader that's coming up right now, so I'm kind of waiting for him. I'll move the gates, we'll go through together.
Oh, right on. Yep, copy. Yeah, so it really works well when everybody cooperates. I always feel kind of, responsible for them, and I sure do appreciate, when guys cooperate. We all work together, just kind of get through it. I was doing everything I could to get this done quick and get out of their hair. Yeah, the idea of phase congestion, basically what that is when you have different phases of the operation working too close together. And for me in particular, cutting, it's one of the more dangerous parts of logging. And so if I have to deal with stuff like, truck traffic or road building or, logging or, personnel on the ground, it really slows me down. And it's definitely something to be avoided. And But of course, that takes a lot of planning. It obviously doesn't work all the time.
You on this one long water? See if you can. If you don't think you can stop or take off the gate, would you shut that gate for us? Unless you don't think you can stop on that slick spot. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to stop you start again. Come up to where you can start again now, and I will back up and get it. Where's the other one, Jason? Is it on a hill?
Yeah, it's right. It's up there above the timber.
All right, let's keep. Yeah, you get someplace where you can take off, and then let me back up, get that gate, and then I'll get back in front of you.
Yeah, you might want to throw chains there empty. It sounds like they're trucks that are already in there through chains.
Okay, well, I'll just back down there. Will you shut that gate then for me? Thanks, I'm gonna go through the other one, Jason. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, I mean, the protocol with, cutting, the OSHA rule is you got to be at least 2 tree lengths away from the road or, something you could hit. And so the thing about the gates, they need to be, more than 2 tree lengths away. But at the same time, they have to be close enough so that, there's clear, positive radio communication. And, with the gates themselves, they have to be easy for me to jump around from unit to unit, move around as the timber moves around, the edge of the timber moves around, and also easy for these guys to, move out of the way and shut, no hassle. And that's I'm happy with the design. Like I said, we'll do a segment on it.
Hey, Jason, can you hear me?
You bet. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, I just noticed that gate, the upper one, is real slick there, but then I pulled up and you have this other one that you're not using where it's flat and there's no ice. Should I swing that other one? I know it's a little far, but it'd be safer.
Copy. That sounds like a good idea. Hell yes, Matt. Yeah, you bet.
I'm gonna back up and swing that lower one open, and then I'll swing this one shut when we go through it.
Copy. Thank you.
Yeah, another thing about the radio communication, the trucks generally have real good radios, sometimes not so good, but in general they're pretty good. But in the buncher, my radio is kind of limited because I've got the antenna set up underneath the boom so it doesn't get torn off every day. And so that works really well. I'm on my second antenna in, 5.5 years. But by having it protected like that, it means that it's certainly not optimal transmission. So those signs on my gates, the gates themselves have to be close enough so that I have positive communication to anybody coming through them. So yeah, there's just a lot to deal with. The way I like to deal with it the best is work by myself with nobody else to worry about. That's the easiest, safest way about it, Yeah, but like I said, several times, I hated to see this unit end. But it was a good one, good cutting, good wood. It's logging good for the guys too. Yeah, this wood here, it was somewhat steep, so it didn't get thin. So the piece size was small, but it had fairly decent stock. And actually, that cold weather we got there with the snow, the ground was stiff, and it was good getting around.
How about that loaded truck coming down?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got my gates up. I'm on 25. I just wanted to switch over and tell you there's an empty down here at the channel change, chaining up, so he can't hear you probably.
Okay, you guys kind of doubled the, yeah, right there at the gauge on 25.
Yeah, copy. I'm on the buncher, so I'm on 25 when you're inside the gates.
Okay.
Yeah, so the trucks that are in this segment are what we call the first round. And, generally, the load and shovel will start anywhere from 2 o'clock in the morning to 4, or something like that, depending on the location, with the first truck. The string will, depending on how many trucks it is, it'll be 3, 4, or 5 trucks coming in after that first one. Yeah, it's kind of interesting for those of you not familiar with the industry. It's an early morning thing. Trucks have to they're paid on loads, and so they have to start early to get the maximum number of loads in to the mill. The mills generally close up in terms of taking wood fairly early in the afternoon, and timber grows in remote places, and adverse conditions, so that first round has to get in and out quick, so the guys can be sure to get the trips they need, and the logging contractor can get the production that we need.
Copy, come on down.
Okay, I'll get out and open it up.
Yeah, and again, for maybe people that aren't familiar with the industry, but use lumber or live in a house or use paper products, this is something to think about. Your cheap 2x4s from Home Depot, your paper products, or house that you live in came from lumber. That lumber comes from guys that are in this video here, on some snow-covered slick mountain in the middle of the night, moving wood products in a responsible manner, implementing forest management, getting those wood products to the mill so they can be turned into useful products that we all rely on. It's kind of an unseen part of this to most of the people in this country and around the world. And I have to say, I'm proud to be a part of it. It's a good thing. Forest management keeps the forest, forested landscape in forest, because it allows it to pay its way. And an unfortunate truth that I've said before is that if land doesn't pay its own way, it's going to change use, and in most cases that change of use is not a positive change in general. And so these thousands upon thousands of acres of working forest land are keeping that as working forest land.
Alright, gates closed, here I come.
Copy, I'll wait for you to get by. I think that truck's still out. I don't see headlights yet, so it's down here just below the junction where he's at.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so another thing I think is kind of interesting is the time involved in this. I have to, if a truck's coming through the gate, I've got to stop, wait, let them go through, before I start cutting again.
going up in there loading. Alright. You say you're gonna get the gate? Yeah, where's it at? Right down by you. Yeah, I can get out and grab it. I keep going. You bet you. Good morning.
At the same time, you know, the trucks have to deal with the gates, getting in, getting out, you know, shutting them, opening them.
Coming in through the first gate.
You bet. Thank you.
And it's not like I'm complaining. Safety is, of course, a critical component of what we do, but the time that it takes is, I think it's unaccounted for. Yeah, so watching this footage my wife put together just kind of shows that, you know, that commitment to safety that we step forward to and do. So anyhow, hope you find it interesting. As always, appreciate you watching. Be safe.
You bet. Thank you.